Sarmale is a traditional Romanian dish, always present on the table during holidays. It's a cabbage or young grape leaf roll filled with veggies, rice, and minced pork or mushrooms. Each part of the country, dare I say each household, has its own recipe, passed down from generation to generation. And today we will be making my version of sarmale. Let me show you how. Let's start off with the cabbage. Fermented cabbage is more traditional, but I don't have any, so fresh cabbage it is. 2 medium ones will do, plus a spare for later. Remove the stem or core with a knife. This is important for later. Bring a pot of water to a boil, enough to cover at least half the cabbage. Salt it and add 3 tablespoons of vinegar. Carefully place the cabbage in the water, core side down, and let it blanch for about 5 minutes. Then carefully flip it and use a fork to separate the leaves and let them blanch for a few more minutes until soft. Then take them out one by one. Be careful, they're hot. Place them in another pot or bowl that you can cover with a lid, so they can soften some more. Let's make the filling. Take 5 medium to large onions, peel them, and finely chop them. If you're feeling lazy like I was about dicing them with a knife, use a food processor to speed things up, especially since we'll also need 3 carrots. Roughly chop the carrots into large pieces first, then process them together with the onions until finely chopped. One important note here, make sure to set aside 3 of the 5 diced onions. We will need them raw, more on this later. Now set them aside in a pot while we prepare the other ingredients. For the mushrooms, I'm using 1 kilogram of Pleurotus, but white or brown champignons will work just fine. Simply give them a medium chop. Finally, measure out 230 grams of long grain rice. Now add some oil to the pot with the 2 onions and the carrots, as well as a cup of water and a generous amount of salt. Sauté at low heat for about 20 minutes and add some more oil if it feels too dry. After that, set the heat to medium, add the rice and cook it until it starts to stick to the bottom of the pot, at which point add 200 milliliters of red wine. Stir for a few minutes to let the alcohol evaporate, check again for salt, then add the chopped mushrooms and mix it well. Add a teaspoon of vegetable seasoning mix for extra flavor and 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika powder. Stir and cook for another 20 minutes. Turn off the heat and add the other 3 raw onions we've set aside. This next ingredient is my own addition to the dish, red miso paste, a fermented seasoning that adds a special flavor, and I use it on many dishes. Check out the video in the description for more info about it. 1 teaspoon ground black pepper and another one of my additions, some freshly grated nutmeg. Up to you how much you want to add, I would say half a teaspoon. Mix everything, set it aside, and let's get to the meat. Since there is no minced pork in the mixture, I'm using smoked pork hock that I will place around the sarmale. It adds incredible depth and smokiness to the dish. I couldn't help myself from giving it a taste, and of course it's delicious. Cut it off the bone into small medium slices and set aside both the meat and the bone. Let's prep the blanched cabbage leaves. Start by giving it a good squeeze to remove any excess water. We have to remove this middle tough part of the leaf using a sharp knife and gently slicing it off. Now the leaf is more flexible, but there is one more step. Gently rip the leaf in half lengthwise, otherwise the rolls will be way too big. We are now ready to fill them. In a heavy bottom pot, preferably enameled cast iron, Place the cut-offs from the cabbage leaves and spread them out evenly. Add a few sprigs of fresh thyme or 1 teaspoon dry, a couple of fresh dill stalks, and the 2 pork bones. Now that the pot is ready for the sarmale, let's fill them. Hold the cabbage leaf in your hand with a thick rib on the right. Add about a tablespoon of filling, fold the thick side just a little bit over the filling, then roll the leaf away from you tightly. Seal the left side by tucking it with your finger. Easy. Now repeat about 40 or 50 more times. When there is a layer of sarmale in the pot, add half the meat we sliced earlier and a few tablespoons of blended tomatoes, or mix some tomato paste with water. Roll the rest of the sarmale, another round of tomato sauce, and the rest of the meat. Here's where the third cabbage comes in. You can either slice it into strips or use whole leaves to cover the pot. Up to you. Finish with some more tomato sauce, then fill the pot with water just enough to reach the top layer of sarmale, leaving a bit of space so it can boil without overflowing. I recommend using filtered water. It's a small detail, but after all this work, why not use the best water you can? Cover with a lid and bring it to a boil on the stove. Once it starts boiling, lower the heat and let it simmer for about 2 hours. Now this is an important ingredient that adds a signature sourness to the dish. Borș, not to be confused with borș, which is an actual soup. Borș is a sour liquid made by fermenting wheat or rye bran. I'm using it here because these sarmale were made with fresh cabbage, not fermented. I'll leave a link in the description for both the liquid and the powdered versions. Another option would be lemon juice or vinegar, but that's only if you can't get borș. Add it when the sarmale are almost done, about 10 minutes before turning off the heat. Once they're done, it's important to remove as much of the liquid as possible. If you don't, the sarmale will fall apart and you won't be able to take them out as individual rolls. Use a ladle to scoop out as much of the liquid as you can. You can even place a wedge under the pot to tilt it slightly. I removed about 1.5 liters of liquid, and I'm not throwing it away. I'll use it in a sour meatball soup, where it adds amazing flavor. But that's a recipe for another video. Last step before serving. Add a few dabs of pork or duck fat, or simply a bit of oil, to give the sarmale another layer of richness. Serve them with sour cream on top, and garnish with parsley or dill. And that's it, sarmale. A lot of work, but worth every minute. A true taste of Romanian tradition. Enjoy! Thank you for watching. I hope this video helped you learn something new, or inspired you to give this recipe a try. And if you do, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know how yours turns out. Want more? Check out another recipe here. I think you'll like it. If you have any questions or ideas, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, bye.